All right. Well, give it up for Raven, everyone. Welcome to Let's Cool One. This is the podcast Let's Cool One with Jack Macklin. We have a very special guest on here today, Cameron Petros from Nashville, joining us. What's up, Cameron?
Yeah, how much, man? Just hanging out,
Uh,
doing the thing,
Sweet
doing it.
man, sweet man. How you been, man?
I've been good, man. I've been good, staying busy as I can, and you know, just getting out there, trying to get my rest a little bit too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For those of everyone who doesn't know, like, explain a little bit about yourself and what you do and where you're from, things like that.
Oh yeah, well, I'm originally from Maine, Ellsworth, Maine, to be exact, and I moved down to Nashville about like a year and a little over a year and a half ago. Uh, I'm a drummer. Uh, But yeah, I'm a working drummer here in Nashville, full time. Yeah, I just made the move down here to pursue music and
Yeah.
you know get that ball rolling, and it's been great so far. It's been awesome.
That's killing. And like there's not many people up in Ellsworth, Maine, right? Like how big is your town you grew up in?
It's like 7,000, 8,000 people, something like that. But pretty small town at a very small high school, very small graduating class
Yeah.
compared to others. I feel like. Uh, yeah, man, there's not a whole lot going on up there music wise, but there's little pockets here and there of there's some wholesome stuff, but
Yeah.
it's a good place to grow up.
Yeah, Ellsworth, Maine. You don't really hear a lot of cats from Maine, but Cameron was one of the few. He's working his ass off now in Nashville. Super proud of him. Kind of came down from Maine. So inspired you to become a musician, and what keeps you motivated?
Man, honestly, my two older brothers really inspired me to become a musician. They both played guitar. They're quite a bit older than me. One's like 5 years older than me, the other one's like 9 years older than me. And I grew up with them showing me a lot of different music, and also with them being, they play guitar. That really inspired me to, kind of chase after that. And I guess like the one time that really, uh, I guess, vilified it for me that I wanted to be a musician was when my brother brought me on stage during one of his battle of the bands, and just like I just thought it was the coolest thing to be up on stage, and just like it was a kind of a feeling I've been chasing ever since that. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah, that's killing.
yeah.
So, like, what kind of stuff were your brothers playing, and what kind of genres do you stick with now?
Well, it's my brothers listen to a lot of probably like I'd say more on the grunge side of things, like a lot of '90s rock, um, and that was a big influence. Like they introduced me to like Nirvana, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, uh, and those are definitely big like stepping stone, like foundational, artists for me that I really liked through my brothers. And as I got older, especially when I got started drumming, I was very big into like heavier music, like metal and things like that. But when I started playing drums at the age of 6, and when started getting more into that, and getting more through school, started taking drum lessons. Like my drum teacher introduced me to like jazz, which was a huge, huge thing for my playing. I feel like, and has been like ever since. Like it shows through here and there. And I played in jazz band throughout middle school and high school. Uh, and I mean nowadays, I mean a lot of the things I like to listen to. I love listening to a lot of hip hop, and definitely I still listen to I listen to bebop, and I still love rock music a lot. And man, I kind of love listening to everything,
Right,
but
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
you,
big mixing pot.
oh yeah, absolutely. And Nashville is an amazing spot to play a lot of different genres and your foot wet in a bunch of different scenes. For you guys who don't know, Cameron and I, we used to share a place in Nashville. I lived in the attic, and he lives downstairs, and he still lives downstairs in a nice spot. And we became good friends over a period of time living together in Nashville, and we got to play some music together. We kind of both watched each other grow, you know, but a huge part of our lives. I just recently moved back to Chicago, as some of the listeners know. So we're happy to get him on the podcast and hear some of his influences. Like it's super inspiring to me. And could you speak a little bit on how you kind of just knew you wanted to do music and moved down to Nashville and not really know, you know, if it's going to work out, and having like faith in believing what you do, because now you're like booked, you know, through the end of the year probably, and you know, and making money with music. And just speak upon like, you know, chasing your dreams and if you were nervous doing that, and like what you your whole thought on that.
Yeah, man. I mean, moving down here was definitely a big decision. I used to be a lobster fisherman up in Maine, and I mean, the reason why I started doing that job was to get down here. And man, just the love for like, I mean, I've had this dream since I was a little kid, man. Just the love for it, just like never died. So, you know, as you know, getting older, you know, making the decision to come down here, it was a big one. But honestly, man, I wouldn't, you know, couldn't have done it without the help of like my family, and other support from back home. But also, man, like something that really inspires me about Nashville is the community, and
Mm-hmm.
how everyone here wants to see each other grow, and wants to help each other out, and it's very motivating, and it really helps, you know, that really helps having a nice solid community around you, and solid like friend group that, you know, of people that, you know, will push you every day, and kind of helps keep that dream alive, you know. And as time goes on, you just keep, you know, pushing,
Right.
and having faith in what you believe in, and you know, and while you're doing it, like, you know, while you play music, and while I was playing music, you know, I feel like that goes hand in hand with like getting booked, and like, you know, just keep going, because you know, we're always students of the game here,
Right.
always learning, and always staying inspired however we can. uh that's something that's really helped, you know, keep me up on my feet. I feel like, in terms of staying, you know, inspired, and still chasing the dream every day, because man, there's no limit, you know, no sky's the limit, man. There's no ceiling out here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Yeah, man.
totally believe that. And I, and part of the reasons I wanted to have you on today is because you're a phenomenal drummer, but also, I think your story is really inspiring. How you wanted to pursue music, and you knew you wanted to do it. Not many people leave from where you're from, and you're one of the dudes who left and decided to pursue your dreams. And I think that in whatever career or profession you decide to take, that following your dreams is the only way, right?
Absolutely, man. I mean, also, you know, having guys like yourself, man, like I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at now without, you know, the support from, and like the push
Oh
from
man.
you, and you know, all the homies. Like, man, super grateful, very
Yeah,
grateful
yeah,
for
man.
our paths crossing.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. So, what are some of the bands you're playing with, and what are your average gigs look like?
Right now I play with like a nice handful of original artists, and I do some of the Broadway stuff as well. Right now I
So,
play
what's the
with this
Broadway
band.
stuff?
The Broadway stuff, I guess the Broadway stuff would be, you know, the I don't know if anyone's familiar with how Nashville, how that kind of how the scene,
No,
parts of
explain
the
it a little
scene down.
bit.
Well, down on Broadway, there's a lot of different bars that have live music. I'd probably say there's at least over like there's probably close to 50 bars downtown, and I'd say a good majority of
Yeah,
them
there's a
have live
ton.
music every day. Even if it's like it's, you know, multi-floored bars, they'll have stages on each floor, so they have three different bands going, and you know, at one time. It's crazy, man. And usually, the bands that will do gigs. They're about 4 hours long, and it's kind of like a rotating thing every day. You know, there's some, you know, different bands and also like recurring bands, but it's just like, you know, it's a lot of covers, which is, you know, can be really
Right.
cool and really fun. Build up your chops, especially if you're first moving here and you're really trying to get to work down here. It's a really unique thing, man. I think there's nothing like it around where, you know, you can walk down the street and
Right.
you honestly don't know who you can see playing. I mean, so, you know, a lot of the guys are down here. Some of them are people that first moved to Nashville, and then some of them are seasoned vets, man, that have done the road stuff and played with crazy people, but you know they still just want to play.
Right.
It's very cool, man. It's very interesting. And it's
So
definitely not for everybody, but it's very cool. It's very cool.
absolutely. So how did you get ingratiated with the Broadway scene?
Well, that was pretty recent. That was this year, really. Starting in like May, I got in contact with this artist who just happens to do a lot of stuff down there, down on Broadway, and I've been playing with him a lot. And through that, I've played and filled in with different bands down on Broadway as well. Um, it's definitely it can be a cool little thing to get into, especially if you want to be full time musician down here in Nashville specifically, really, because you can get a lot of work through that, and it's not too hard to get into either.
Yeah, right. So how often are you playing down there? Like a couple times a week, or?
Yeah, I'd say right now it's been 3 to 5 times a week the past like month or two, uh, which has been cool. You know, it definitely keeps you busy. Keeps you
Right.
busy and
Yeah, that's
helps out a lot.
awesome. That's cool. So Nashville is definitely a place where you can go and work. There's tons of opportunities there for the people who are hungry and hustle, and that's something that I
Right,
really.
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's something that I loved about Nashville is the amount how you get to play all the time. There's so much music and so many opportunities to get paid to where you could definitely make it as a musician, and if you want to and have the drive. I mean, there's some people who can't, but like when
Right.
you're really dedicated to what you do and you're really inspired, the sky's the limit. Like Cam's showing here, moving from Maine and working full time as a drummer. So
Yeah,
let's move over to some like inspiration and influences. So it's like you now are working full time as a drummer. Started playing the drums. How old were you when you started playing?
I was about 6 years old.
Yeah. So like six, and so playing for a long time, always being in and out of bands, and who are some of your influences and heroes that got you this far, and who have you really studied the most?
Man, there's been a definitely a large amount of influences, but I mean, man, cats that have really inspired me, especially throughout the years, even my younger years, in middle school and high school, drummers like Thomas Pridgeon, Ronna Bruner, uh, Tony Royster, and cats like Art Blakey and Jeff Porcaro. I mean, definitely, and I can't, when I was, the younger guys that really got me into it, like cats like Dave Grohl, Joey Jordison from Slipknot, a lot of different influences, man, from start
Yeah,
to finish. It's really hard. It's hard to pick, man. There's just so many that I
Corey
really
Fonville.
love. But I
Yeah,
guess one that I studied, I feel like I
in
definitely
my
started a
influence.
lot with was Art Blakey, especially within the
Yeah.
past year or so.
Ooh.
Man, like it's the how the power
Right.
the
Right.
power behind him, man, and
Was there a
uh
specific song of his that really made it, or album or something that really made it pop out for you?
yeah, man, the honestly the Monk's Music record
Oh yeah.
probably one of my is that the drumming on there is it's phenomenal, man. It's beautiful, and everyone on that record is it's amazing, man. That's probably the record I feel like I studied the most of Art's playing, just because I love the combination of Monk and Blakey, man. It's just like there's something to it that I don't know.
Yeah,
Just to
it's
sit
killing,
down and
right?
listen. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that combination. Those guys were so young on that. It's crazy. Yeah, if you get for you guys who don't know, that's the amazing record. That's the record where Monk's like sitting on the wheelbarrow, right? Or
Yeah,
the
the wagon.
wagon, right? The
Yeah,
wagon. And and yeah, Art Blakey is probably a young guy, a super young guy on there. I mean, shoot, you know. And
yeah, man.
Coltrane's on there, and Coleman Hawkins is on there. It's a crazy, crazy good record. Um, so how do you stay current with like new music that comes out and styles, new trends?
Man, for me, it's got for me it's really I usually will hear it in passing. I feel like through social media or something like that, or someone or a homie of mine will put me onto something new. It's feel like that's the way I usually will get into any newer stuff. I think it's usually through someone putting me on a new record, which I always love, man. Uh, because you know you can always trust the homies to put you on something good.
Right.
And
What
I
are you
feel like
checking
that's
out
the part.
now?
Man, I've been listening to that to the Braxton Cook record that came out not very long ago.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
that's something that I've been into lately. It's been a lot of fun to get into and uh and learn from because he's just a phenomenal player. The who you are, who are you when no one is watching? Braxton
Oh,
Cook.
Braxton Cook. Yeah,
That came
that's
out. Yeah, it came out in 2023. I mean, it's like a year old, but still, I
yeah.
think
Braxton's a hero, right?
he's amazing, man.
Super, so killing. His band is so killing. I love his music too. It's amazing. So is there
Yeah.
like yeah? Go ahead.
I was just gonna mention, and of course, Butcher Brown, the new record they came
Right.
out with this year, and that Corey Fonville is another hero of mine for sure, and someone who I've definitely studied up on a lot, and yeah, very very big influence to my playing as well.
So if you were to pick a like album or like a flagship artist or album that like you always go back to and you're like, oh, that's how I want to play. Um, what would that be?
Man, I gotta say the Roots, Things Fall Apart record, man. That a lot of that is Jay Dilla. Some of that is it's all Jay Dilla produced, and then I think some of that is Drum Machine. But Questlove on that record, man, is very, very, very. That's like every time I go back and listen to that record, man, it's just like I just want to sound just like I want that fat pocket, just like that.
Yeah.
It's one I always go back to, man. It's a classic. Like that's like in the top three albums of all time for me, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It really how did that change your perspective on music?
Oh, well, it cut out. What was that?
Oh, how did that change your perspective on music?
It gave me a better concept and understanding of grooving, uh, and like staying in the pocket as well. Um, that's definitely it. Just the grooves on that record, man, and the beats are they're very cool and they're kind of challenging as well. Just keeping something, keeping it go like it's hard, man, to kind of get that type of feel, and I feel like it's a very cool thing to chase. Because that just I don't know, the feel is everything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, holy smokes, the feel is definitely everything. And Questlove, who has better feel than Questlove? You know.
All right, man, for sure. I
Yeah.
love Quest, man.
That's killing. So how do you think? I mean, you could say this for anybody, but like, what in your music reflects your personality as well? Like, does your how do you think your music reflects your personality?
That's an interesting. It's an interesting question. Um, I feel like uh um my playing and my personality, I feel like are very similar. I don't really know how to explain, but you know, I feel like,
Yeah, it's hard
speaking
one.
to your instrument is very important. Uh, and how you portray that. I guess I don't know, man. That's a tough one to that's a tough one to answer.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, man. I don't
No.
know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I think about my favorite music and records and stuff, it's like um I feel like a lot of it's very like intricate and precise, but yet it's like super laid back and chill, you know?
Right.
And like,
Yeah.
some of my favorite records are I was gonna say Numbers by Mitchell Brown and Nicholas Payton. That's like a flagship record for me for sure. I've listened to that hundreds and hundreds of times. And that record for instance is so chill. So like you could sit back and like roll up your favorite sativa and spark one with it. But
Yeah,
like
man.
but like,
Yeah, man.
also if you really, really check it out and you just like sit there and check out what's going on, it's so precise and intricate. And
Right.
and that's something that I really love about some of the music that I check out, and I'm sure that you check out too, is like, it's both. It's everything combined. There's a melody. I really love when a song has a melody, and I think a good melody is reflective of a personality, because when the way someone moves, the way someone walks, or just how they are, it's kind of, they have their own little melody to them. And that's why people write tunes about each other. Like Mr. PC, that tune, Mr. Paul Chambers,
Oh,
that tune's about him, and
absolutely.
they're like, how would it sound? How would Paul Chambers sound, or what, or Kenny Garrett in his last tune, For Art's Sake, that's a Art Blakey tune, or in Hargrove, Hargrove,
Right.
how he was, and I really admire that from my masters. And speaking of Kenny Garrett, he's going to be at Chicago Jazz Fest this weekend, which I'm super stoked about.
Yeah, man. Man,
Um,
Kenny's the man.
yeah, Kenny is the suit is totally the man. But like, yeah, that's how I would say it would affect my personality. But I mean,
Right.
same with you. Like, how would it?
No, for
That's
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I definitely uh man, I love the I feel like, the details of tunes, man, is or just a detail of a song is something I really love. And like precision for sure, man, is uh definitely a way I'd describe it. And laid back as I can, but also explosive, because I definitely have the I played in a hardcore band for a while when I was up in Maine, and I mean that just has a that type of music has always, no matter what I'm playing, had an impact on my playing. Uh, I feel like that'd be a really good way to another good way to describe my playing, with maybe not tied super well with my personality, but a way for
Explosive.
sure. Yeah, a little explosive.
I like that. I like that though. Sometimes having a drummer that's explosive is like just what you need.
Yeah, man.
You know.
It's a nice crash.
Yeah, nice crash, is really not afraid to get in there and get after it. That's like awesome. It really, really hypes up the music. Pat Metheny said he's one of my great guitar players. I don't know if I would say he's my favorite guitar player, but he could play, and that's like, he's just an amazing guitar player. But he said that the leader of the band, no matter what band, is the drummer. And he has Antonio Sanchez in his band, and like that's his main guy, who's just
Oh,
an amazing drummer. But yeah, I mean, Antonio Sanchez is a pretty explosive drummer, I would say.
oh, absolutely, man.
You know?
Another drummer you could say who is very explosive is Tony Williams.
Yeah,
Another very
yeah,
explosive drummer. Man, Antonio Sanchez though is it's the cat, man.
yeah. Tony Williams is also the cat. I
Oh
love
yeah,
Tony,
man.
and super explosive, especially at a young age. He was going
Oh yeah.
in with Miles, super young. It's crazy. And he had his own projects too. You know, he has that.
Yeah.
You have your own project. Why don't you speak on that a little bit about the Cameron Petros trio and what songs you guys are playing?
Yeah, man. I got a little trio here in Nashville called the Cameron Petros Trio. Name still kind of in progress, but it's a couple of my homies here in Nashville. Nico Tripodis, really killing guitar player, and Sam Sphera's very killing bass player. Yeah, man, we like to a tune that we really love to play is Fred by the great Alan Holdsworth. But you can hear on Tony Williams record Believe It. Uh, and play a little Wes Montgomery, a little 4 on 6. Tunes of that nature, man, and also some tunes from the Nick Payton record Numbers, like
Right,
the tune
absolutely.
entitled 6. Man, a lot of different, it definitely has a jazz fusion element to it for sure. That's definitely kind of more of our
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like if you're in Nashville, check out the Cam Petros trio. They're amazing. And so you're performing live now a lot nowadays, right? So
Hmm.
what are some, like, I have my favorite things about performing live, but I want to know what are your favorite things about performing live, and what do you always look forward to at a gig?
Man, I love playing live. It's like a spiritual experience, man. Because when you're out, like one of my favorite parts of just playing up on stage, man, and for people is like, the fact that we are all not only are is me and the other band members on stage, not only are we in the same moment together, but we are also uh pulling everyone else into that same moment as well. And when you can really catching an audience like that is an amazing feeling because you'd be playing for an hour and that could go by so fast just because you're just in it in the moment. Everyone's meshing really well. That's a wonderful feeling. That's one of my favorite parts, man. And being able to play, of course, is just any opportunity to be able to play. Uh, I'm always so grateful.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, man, that's definitely something that really gets me going on stage. You know, bringing
Yeah.
that energy and having that energy reciprocated as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing like a beautiful spiritual moment. You know, do you have any like pre-gig rituals or like things you do before you perform?
I mean, I like to warm up on the practice pad, of course, and I usually like just a little time to myself, just to like pace around a little bit and get some stretching in and just get in the moment really and get locked in, get in the zone. That's definitely my usual pre-gig ritual, I guess you could say. And drink lots of water too.
Right, right. Gigging all the time like that. You got to stay
But
hydrated.
that's gotta stay hydrated, man.
Yeah, you know, like the full-time musician life is definitely fun. What are like some of the some of the challenging times that you face so far as like being a full-time musician?
Man, I'd say the challenging thing is learning when to rest, um, and learning how to rest, really, because man, you could play 2 to 3 gigs, even like a day, or just have a lot of things going on. And it's always important to remember to let yourself rest, man, because man, it's just something I've learned the hard way, and just when you kind of fry yourself out because you just want to keep going and going and chasing it, but learning how to find a balance, I feel like has been a challenge that I'm getting better at every day, and at least trying to, getting your rest and also staying healthy because if you're playing a lot and you're a full time musician, you gotta be ready to go, at all times and be feeling good and and having that self discipline as well. When you're playing at bars all the time, everything like that, you can definitely get lost in the sauce a little bit, but it's good to have that balance and just knowing when to take care of yourself because the burnout is real, and you definitely don't want to crash and burn on a gig or anything. So it's always good to be, in my opinion, mindful. And yeah, it's a challenge for sure, but getting better at it every day
Right.
is, you know.
Absolutely. Something about what comes with like the amount of gigs in Nashville, I feel like is the amount of opportunities to say yes, and the amount of opportunities to like go out and play and not wanting to say no to all. Cause first you need the money and second of all, you want to be playing and, you know, have you had to say no to gigs and like, do you say no to certain gigs or do you say yes to everything right now? And like, how do you get burnt out from some gigs that you do a lot or are you stoked to play all the gigs you do?
Yeah, man, there's definitely, I feel like, I feel like there's a point, um, where I have said yes to about everything that has been handed to me. But as of lately, approaching my 2 years here in Nashville, um, I've definitely been learning how to say no to some gigs, uh, which I always love to play. But I mean, one thing about Broadway is that it can definitely it can burn you out. I mean, there's no shortage of work, which is excellent. But that's definitely one gig that will that can burn me out a little bit. Um, I mean, I definitely one of my favorite some of my favorite stuff to do down here is a lot of original artist gigs. I play with some really awesome bands. Band the Weird Sisters.
Yeah, those guys are
I play.
awesome.
They're great, man. Some of my favorite cats, and I played another band, Limestone Love Seat. Great. They're a great band down here, up and coming. And Bennett Lamaster and Cole Gallagher, of course, a good buddy of mine, good buddy of ours,
Yeah.
a great
Cole.
Americana rock artist. Oh yeah,
Love to get on
and
him on the show at some point.
oh, absolutely, man.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah, he'd be
hilarious.
great to have on. But with that, I mean, those are definitely my gigs. I love because they really challenge me. I think creatively and also the the work within the band, like how we all communicate with each other, is great. And but with some of the Broadway stuff, that can definitely sometimes that changes. I'm not playing with the same people all the time, so sometimes that can be a challenge, man. When you're learning to play with different people all the time, learning how people play, especially if it's on the gig, it can be challenging, and it definitely it can wear you down a little bit, especially if you're doing that 4 to 5 times a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing with new guys is always hard, especially whatever genre you're doing. And yeah, I've had that experience too because in Nashville I was doing this gig at Authentique Wine Bar, which is still going on, being led by my guy Rob Linton, which is he's an amazing bass player. But one of the struggles that I had with that is always finding good and quality people to play with and people who are nice guys and really can play and who are down for the gig. Like part of that too is because I would book more than like a week ahead of the gig. So like, always a bunch of guys were booked, but also that was always a struggle for me. One of my hardest struggles was like playing with new people and developing like real chemistry with them. And because chemistry in music, especially something so personal like that, definitely doesn't happen overnight, with somebody. And some people you can hit it off right away and like it's your job to be really killing at what you do and play well no matter what. But a real deep musical connection definitely takes a lot of time to foster.
It does, man. It really does. Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, man. I mean, it's always great playing with new people, especially if you can hit it off. Obviously on a personal level, but then on a musical level too. But yeah, man, it's really harnessing that and fostering that. It's a challenging thing. And when you have it, man, it's hard to let go of, and it's hard to accept anything else sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So like what are your some of your biggest goals as a musician now that you're 2 years in Nashville? Like what do you want to accomplish in Nashville and like what type of image and vibe do you want to set for people who are checking you out and would yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, right now, something I really would like to do is get on the road a little bit more, um, and do some more touring. That's always been something I've wanted to experience and do. Um, and I think that's kind of where I'm. That's like where the goal is headed next is to do a little bit more of that. Uh, I mean, like I said, that's always something I've wanted to do, and I would just love to get the experience of that as well. 'Cause,
Touring, yeah,
if I
yeah,
don't like it, it's cool. But if I do, I mean, I'm always down for good experience, man, and
right,
like especially involving music
absolutely,
and um yeah, man. I mean, the type of and also a lot of I would love to do more studio stuff as well. That's always I have a lot of fun with that. I really love uh really like diving I like diving into the studio stuff and like working with artists on a really cool creative level.
right.
That's definitely something I also want to get into more as well.
Yeah, from your
But
knowledge, what's the studio scene look like in Nashville?
I mean the studio scene's amazing here, man. It's definitely I'd say that the heavy hitters have those gigs pretty intact. But any chance that I've gotten to work with anybody of that stature has always been humbling in the best ways, and also and just learned a lot from those experiences. Even playing with some of these studio guys outside of the studio and at gigs, it's always it's yeah, it's heavy, man. I'd say the studio vibes are heavy. The studio guys are really good. Those are the guys you're hearing on the records here in Nashville that come out of here.
Yeah, there's like tons of studio guys, right? That like,
It's crazy. I mean, Marcus Finney, man, he's one of many to name.
right.
Absolutely killing and inspirational drummer down here.
Yeah, I mean he's so killing. He played with the Kurt Elling, right? His Super Blue project. That's what I think Corey Fonville was playing in there too. But Kurt Elling is from
Yeah.
Rockford, Illinois, which is not too far from Chicago, which is
Oh,
is crazy. So yeah, like when you're doing these, the studio scene in Nashville is amazing. I mean, that's a whole conversation. But
right.
we'll bring it back to the live shows for a little bit. Like, how do you like? Is there any venue or festival that's like your dream gig and you wish to do?
I mean, man, I really, I mean, in Nashville,
Just to ever anywhere.
I mean, man, I've always wanted to up in Maine, man. The Maine State Theater, uh, that's a wonderful theater in Portland, Maine that I've always wanted to play. I've seen some of my favorite artists play on that stage. Another venue in Maine, it's like this, it's a waterfront amphitheater that hosts a lot of big acts. Those are two places I definitely would really love to play someday. And then also down here, of course, man, I'd love to play, Ascend. Of course, I think anybody would love to play Bridgestone.
Right, right.
But man, I like, one place I'd really love to play is in Japan, man. That'd be anywhere in Japan, really. That'd be really fun and
Oh
really
man,
cool. I've always had an interest in that.
me too. I'd
Um,
love to tour the world. It's just like,
yeah, man.
obviously it's like that's kind of the goals when you sign up to be a musician is you want to be able to be
Right.
playing like the big venues and all that stuff and
Of course,
doing
yeah.
what you love to do, like the biggest venues in your genre. Something that I learned in Nashville that maybe you could speak on is like there's so many different styles and so many different genres in music that it's like it's really hard to master them all, like the blues and the country and jazz and funk and pop and all that stuff. With there's all types of guitar players that are really good at every single one of those genres there, and I'm sure drummers as well. And how do you find out exactly what you want to be doing with your instrument and what type of I know that like learning a bunch of genres sometimes it spreads yourself too thin. It's like jack of all trades,
Right.
master of none. So
Absolutely.
when you're doing your drums and you're thinking about what type of music you want to really make an impact on, what what helps you make those decisions, and what type of music do you, and how do you see yourself, what type of stuff do you see yourself doing the most, and what's your, your route?
Yeah, man. I mean, it definitely spreading yourself too thin is it can happen down here pretty quick. You know, if you're saying yes to everything, man, I feel like knowing your strengths is a big thing. Knowing your strengths in whatever genre you're playing, man. And for instance, for myself, I definitely feel like I have you know, I find a lot when I'm playing anything that is rock, Americana, and also funk related. I find I find a little bit more strengths in that, and what I've been doing lately with that is working more towards that, and uh, kind of dialing that in a little bit more, because that's just kind of the work I've been doing a lot more of down here. Um, but I mean, even regardless of genre, I feel like just always working on, always just like trying to always challenging yourself. I feel like is a good thing, and then like in and out of the practice room, uh, I feel like if there's a genre you really want to do, man, it's about working at that, and of course tightening up your weaknesses. Um, but I feel like knowing your strengths is what really kind of helps you, can help kind of guide your way through through what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can find your strength in a lot of different genres that you play, and also of course find your weaknesses. Of course, I mean we've all been there.
Right.
Um, I feel like that's like, yeah, man. I mean, I would love to do. I would love to do. I love doing everything down here, and it's hard to really pick if what I'd rather be doing or not. But I mean, I guess if if I were to, definitely more of the laid back, funk, uh, jazz oriented things.
Absolutely.
I definitely, I feel like I tend to linger towards more, especially if I'm in the house, in the shed and, practicing. I think it's what I'm always leaning towards rather than what I'm usually playing out.
Right. So like you were speaking about practicing, what does your practice routine look like? Obviously, becoming a professional musician is not, the easiest thing to do and takes a lot of practice and skill. And so are you still practicing a lot, or how does it look like for you? Do you have a practice routine that you go through? How important do you think it is to practice? What do you practice? Um, you know, what does that look like for you?
Man, practicing for me, I practicing is definitely, I feel when it's become one of those things to where I feel like it's definitely even if you are playing out a lot, you always should be trying to find time to be in the practice room and just working yourself out. Um, my practice routine, when I go in, I will usually sit down in the kit and for the first 10 minutes or so, just throw something on like a metronome or sometimes just like one of my favorite songs just to get a little more uh, just warmed up. And then I usually will tackle uh, usually what I've been tackling lately it has been new music for upcoming things that I've been doing that I have they're gonna be happening. And one of those things has been for me recently has been Afrobeat. I mean that's something I've been practicing a lot of. Uh, I feel it's helped a lot with you know getting my coordinate. I mean of course getting my coordination more dialed in, but also independence and things like that. Yeah, man, that's usually what I will try to do going to the practice room is tackle something that I need to work on. If I don't have music to be working on, it's usually just um, rudimental uh, exercises and different ways to do those things around the kit, and just getting more comfortable. with my instrument as much as I can. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, oh, for sure. Like, it takes a long time to get comfortable. I'm still working on that too every single day.
of course,
Is
absolutely.
there like do you have a favorite like routine or rudiment or exercise that you work on or you've been working on lately?
Um, Man, it's been definitely a lot of paradiddle influence exercises. I've been really working, I've been hitting the practice pad a lot, and just what I feel like I tend to do is work on my singles a lot, and just get my fingers nice and warmed up. I do feel like technique is an important thing. It helps with fatigue, and getting being able to last longer when playing, and just not tiring yourself out too much. Uh, Yeah, man, it's usually just a lot of paradiddles and singles. I feel like I'll bounce between like double paradiddles, inverted paradiddles, just to name a few that I feel like I tend to gravitate towards a lot when sitting down and practicing. That have really helped a lot with my playing, like fluidity wise. Um, and just and being a little more dialed in.
Yeah. So speaking of practicing and getting better at your instrument, something that I've noticed being, your upstairs roommate over the course of the past 2 years. Oh, you there? Okay, cool. Is how much you've improved in a relatively short time? Is there because Cameron, he always was a killing drummer, but started playing a bunch of gigs and really is one of the leading drummers of his age in Nashville at this point. And is there something you could speak upon, or something that you did, or what was the main factor of improving so quickly and becoming a good pro?
Man, a lot of listening. I know you can attest to that because we did a lot of listening here. Uh, Honestly, man, yeah, getting just doing a lot of like actual critical listening, and or just listening in general to uh we spent a lot of time listening to a ton of tunes here, and that was like it was very beneficial to my playing because I feel like I'm definitely a strong ear player. That's how I feel like I've learned a lot through, and that really helped. I feel like get those like sounds in my head, and like working towards that type of, I guess, working towards that feel, or that sound really. Man, a lot of critical listening, and also playing with cats that just are just so much better. For instance, you and Rob, man. I mean, that's so crucial to my
Yeah.
playing. I believe now, because like you guys kick my ass in a great way, and it's playing with number of cats like similar to you guys has been
Right.
I think can be one of the best ways to learn, is to just get kind of thrown in the fire. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
also just losing, not having, an ego when speaking to, having conversations with people that, you want to hear out, and they want to give you valuable advice, like, making sure that you're humble with it, and also like, taking that in, and just letting go of any ego, because, we're always going to be students of the game no matter what, and we all are going to learn from each other regardless, of whether it's your peer, or if it's a master. There's always gonna be something to learn. I think that was a huge benefactor to I mean improving since I've gotten down here. I mean, in Maine, man, it wasn't a huge music scene, so there wasn't a lot of cats to surround myself with. I really relied on like Instagram to keep up with these things, or traveling 2.5+ hours to go see one of my favorite artists. Like, it's definitely, that is something, being surrounded by just killers every day is such a huge motivator just to get better. And uh put things in perspective.
Right. Um, yeah, I mean, holy crap! But that's just amazing that you have come so far in such a short time, and like the sky's the limit too, and we could, who knows what could happen if you chase your dreams. Like back to the theme of this whole show, but you mentioned social media. Like, what type of social media, and how does that platform play in your promotional strategy for your brand and your music?
I mean, I've always believed social media. It's a great tool to be using, especially as a musician, as a professional working musician. It's basically like having a resume, that everybody can see, in a funny way. And man, like I I try to post as much as I can. And definitely it can be finding the time to do that. I definitely need to be more on that, but I mean, like I said, it is like having a resume, you know, and having like the people, having an easy access to check out what you're doing. Um, One thing I always do is always post on my stories, to let people know where I'm at, in real time, where I'm gonna be. Um, I mean, that's been very beneficial. I feel like with so like how I've used social media. I'm just still kind of working it a little bit more. Trying to get the hang of it a little bit. But yeah, man, I find it to be almost, it's like a necessary evil in a way, because
Right.
how Instagram can be.
Totally.
It can be a little unrealistic. It's a more of a highlight reel for sure, but um it definitely can be a good place though for people to get an idea of who you are, and and like what your playing is about, and it's who you're about, and a good way to get in contact as well.
Right. It's super hard to stay consistent on that stuff. It's like I want to be the a equally great musician, and getting your stuff out there is so important, and I've definitely gotten better at it, but getting on that social media routine is challenging. And but yeah, you've inspired me to post a bunch more. And something about Nashville I've always said is that people aren't afraid to like let the people know, and the people want to know, so like get out there
That's
and
right.
post your stuff. What do you got to lose?
Right, absolutely, man.
Yeah, I mean, um yeah, I mean, why not just post more stuff? You should be posting stuff every day. If you're like, today is one of the best days to be a musician, because we can check anyone out. If you have
Right.
stuff to check out, and people are, that's why it's important, because it's like, man, would you rather just like not have anything up there if people are like wanting to hire you for a gig, or like something for like from like years ago when you've gotten so much better now? It's like, we almost have
Right.
to, so we have our updated resume like you're talking about, like,
Right.
and we're getting better
Absolutely,
all the
man.
time, checking out more stuff. So it's having an updated thing is so important, you know.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, it is. I mean, uh, you never know. Like, you can get the gig that you've always wanted through something like that. You know what I mean? You just never know who's gonna see. So it's good to be to have everything updated and making sure everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. So social media is a big plus. So
It is.
yeah, big plus. If you can have like that stuff down, like you're cooking. Um, so maybe there's someone listening who's like, not a musician, or is a aspiring musician, and I just wanted to know, as we're kind of wrapping things up here, I just wanted to know what advice you would give an aspiring musician, or someone who's thinking about doing music for a career and hasn't yet.
Man, I would say to go all in. If you especially if it's something you really love and that's what you see yourself doing. I feel like having financial like literacy is a good thing. Making sure that you are good with your finances, man, because it's hard out here. Um, and under and like taking that step and that risk, man, it's always going to be worth it, because if you got if even if you got to work a job for a second, just to you can get on your feet, and do your thing, it's all gonna be worth it in the end, you know. Man, I feel like just like if you're thinking about doing it, do it. Especially if it's just what you want to do, because you don't want to, you know. I feel like we all deserve to see ourselves at our full potential. So, I mean, it would be almost like a disservice for yourself not to follow your dream if that's what you want to do. If being a musician is what you want to do, man, just gotta go all in and do what you gotta do. Don't kill yourself, of course, like over it, as in like, working yourself to the bone, or you know, but like, know your balance, but also like, stay hungry, man. Like you gotta do what you. Sometimes you do what you gotta do. I mean, I had to work a job for a second when I got here, and yeah, that's totally okay. And yeah, man, I think it's I think it's just you just got to go all in. There's no other way to put it. Because
Right.
how else are you gonna find out?
Raw dog
You
it.
can't just take a peek. Yeah, you got to raw dog it, man. Every day.
Yeah, yeah. What else are you gonna do? Go all in.
Right, man.
Have to.
I mean,
We're losing him a little bit right now. Sorry about
yeah,
that, folks. But
yeah, man. It's got to go for it. Yeah, it's just
We're
the
back
way
here.
to.
Got you.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Gotta go for it. Even if you're not sure, go just send it. So
Absolutely.
I was just for fun, I wanted to well, I got like one more kind of serious point I wanted to hit before we wrap it up for fun. But what like legacy do you want to leave behind with your music?
Man, I really hope to um inspire up and coming drummers and musicians alike. Uh, and definitely, you know, I want to inspire others, man, and to set set the tone that like you can like always follow your dreams and the path that you want, and with hard work and dedication, like you're gonna get there. Yeah, man, that's just what I want to do, is inspire others to just to do the damn thing, and so it's like, if I can do it, man, I know any y'all can do it. I mean, it's hard out here, but yeah, man, that's what I want to do, and be known for just being a good guy, and be a good musician, and I don't know, man. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. That's
Just
awesome. You
kind of
are a
like
good guy and a good musician, man. I'm
just trying to, yeah.
yeah, man, I'm super thankful you wanted to come on today. If you guys don't know Cameron,
Of course, dude.
you should check him out. He has, what's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram handle is _Cam on drums.
Yeah, yeah. Check out Cam on drums. He's killing it in Nashville. If you're ever in Nashville, hit him up and he'll tell you what shows he's playing. So I got one of these fun questions. I'm gonna ask my guests one of these fun questions. So if you just to wrap it up here, what's your go-to karaoke song?
A go-to karaoke song.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good question. Man, my go-to karaoke song would have to be, oh man, this is tough. I don't know why this is so tough. Man, it's just tough, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like I have it right here, at the tip of my tongue, but I can't figure it out. Probably, man, it's gonna sound funny, but the Vanessa Williams version of "Baby It's Cold Outside," to be specific.
That's killing, man. That's killing.
It's a great tune, man.
Dude, well, you want
It's a great
to,
tune.
yeah, man, that's killing. You want to let the listeners know anything else about yourself, or you think we covered a lot of good stuff?
I mean, man, if any of y'all ever down in Nashville, just hit me up on Instagram. I'd love to show you around and meet whoever, and yeah, I guess get you the vibe of the city, and yeah,
Let's
hit me
go.
up.
Let's go. All right, Cam. Well, we thank you for coming on the show today. Let's Cool One. It was a pleasure having you, and yeah, man, I'm just stoked to get you on here.
Dude, thank you so much for having me, man. It was a pleasure, dude. Come on now.
Yeah, absolutely,
It's
man.
like, dude, I have to come up to Chicago here soon, man.
Yeah, come up to Chicago, man. You always got a place to stay. There's amazing stuff going on. It's like
Likewise,
festival
bro.
season. You know, there's like the Hyde Park Jazz Fest going on. There's the Chicago Jazz Fest this weekend. There's like, I think there's like Englewood Jazz Fest happening. There's all types of venues. I went and saw Marquise Hill last night, which was amazing.
Oh fuck yeah, that's so sick.
Yeah, I saw him at the California Clipper, and then used that Flex Trio, like been jamming a little bit, been trying to hustle some gigs, still trying to get the ball rolling here in Chicago, but went and saw Larry Brown, my old mentor. His show was amazing. Like, hope to have him on this podcast soon too. He was great, but yeah, man, I'm excited to get the ball rolling and start playing here more. There's a lot of amazing musicians here who really could play, and then there's a lot of really awesome venues where people are really stoked about the music, and it's really cool.
Hell yeah. Hey, dude, I love that, man. I can't wait to visit. It's gonna be sick. I love just for you to show me the area and for you to meet these cats.
Absolutely, man. All right, man. Well, thank you again for coming on, and take care, man.
Hell yeah, dude. You as well, man.
All right, man.
Thank
well,
you.
I'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, talk to you soon, big dog.
All right, peace.